Surrounded by the icy waters, just 2.1 kilometers from San Francisco Bay, lies an island, a place built not just to contain bodies but to crush spirits. It was said to be inescapable.
3 bank robbers serving long terms disappeared from the forbidding rock in San Francisco Bay.
How was that even possible? Today, I'm going on the rock to understand the Great Escape.
But first, we have to understand what it was like to be kept inside. When you first step inside of the cell house, the building is divided into 4 blocks. Block B and C had the main cells, which were around 336. The cells were 5 by 9 feet. It wasn't just any cell, it was a psychological weight designed to remind you every second, every day, exactly where you are.
Prison cells there, which are 3 stories high, plus the top 2 tiers get the privilege of looking out the windows and to see ships go by once in a while. Where the lower tier, they couldn't look out the windows, only at themselves across their various cells.
How close you are from the city, yet so far. The 3 escapees, Frank Morris and Anglin brothers, had their cells in the B block.
To control the prisoners here, we had a high number of guards. We had 1 guard for every 3 prisoners. Now, I've talked to a modern correctional officer, and she says in a modern electronically controlled prison, it's 1 guard for 250 prisoners.
If you think this was tough, Block D was a nightmare. They called it the hole. 6 solitary confinement cells where the light never reached. No sound, no bed. It was a place designed to break a man's mind before it ever broke his body. The only way to survive here was the routine. If you followed the rules, you got the luxuries. Few hours of sunlight in the yard or a book from the library.
When this place was full, we averaged about 275 prisoners. That isn't that many prisoners overall, but these were the most dangerous and disruptive prisoners. These were prisoners who tried to kill guards or who tried to kill other prisoners. These were the prisoners who could start a riot in every facility they'd ever been in. These were the escape artists. We had 1 fellow sent here after 16 escape attempts at other prisons.
The escapees realized that while the front of the cells was solid steel,
everybody always tried to go out through the front of the cell where the bars were. In 1962, a year before the prison closed, 4 prisoners figured out how to carve out the back of their cell and get into a utility corridor.
But how did they carve out the thick concrete wall? They used spoons from the cafeteria that they had fashioned into picks by removing the round part.
Nobody had ever tried that before. When they got in the corridor, they found water and sewer pipes for each cell, plus boards for maintenance. Using those pipes and boards, they climbed above the 3rd floor and found a flat place where they could build things unobserved.
And the first thing they built was fake heads, using some soap, toilet paper, and real human hair collected from the barber shop.
1 fellow had a paint set. He painted the heads Caucasian flesh colored. Once they had the heads built, they built a raft out of stolen raincoats. They would take a raincoat and carve it into a big rectangle, sew it into a tube, glue the seam and hold it up to an uninsulated steam pipe to melt the glue and make the tube airtight. They built homemade paddles out of scrap lumber and any fasteners they could steal.
On the night of June 11, 1962, they tucked these decoys into their beds.
And the guards walking by in the dark never suspected a thing. It was just another sleeping prisoner.
In reality, they were already in the walls. They climbed the utility pipes to the roof, hauled their rafts across the tiles and slipped into the pitch black waters of the bay. They disappeared into the fog, and for over 60 years, the world has been wondering, did they even survive? How do we know all of this?
There were 4 men involved in the escape. Remember, every night they had to cover the back of their cell so it looked like it was untouched. 1 prisoner found some powder in the utility corridor that worked very well for that. It was cement powder. He didn't realize he'd cemented himself into his cell. So when it came time to leave, he couldn't get out in time. The other 3 left without him. It took him an extra hour and a half to get up to the roof. When he got up there and he looked around, he realized he'd missed the boat. He came back down and waited for the FBI. When this happened, it was huge news. 3 of the most dangerous prisoners in America escaped from the most dangerous prison in America.
On December 31st, 1979, the FBI officially closed the case, concluding that they drowned in the icy waters. But without bodies, the mystery has a way of staying alive. Even with a plan that outsmarted one of the most secure prisons in the world, they weren't legends, they were career criminals. Even if they survived that night, they didn't find freedom. They just traded a concrete cell for a life of hiding. Alcatraz closed a year after the escape. Today, it's open, not as a prison, but as a place for millions to experience stories. Stories of punishment, of hope, and of questions that we never answer.